open, it's good to go. There it is.
Wow, what a great idea.
Mom's biryani, mom's dal, whatever it is that you miss from home. In fact, this is a business that is taking off in India. There are 3,000 mothers who so far signed up. This is in the city of Mumbai, so obviously this will keep expanding, who have come to Meisheri Foods to send loved ones their home-cooked meals all over the world. And what's so great about it? Well, it preserves the taste and the flavor because there's no preservatives. Yeah. And it's not like you're buying store-bought product where you don't know what went in. This is your mom's cooking, right? So
I remember when our kids were in college that we'll send them care packages, love and care packages. And yes, we sent some of the things that were made by mom. But I didn't know that you can actually get it from India, which sounds like great. I know that you can actually get it some fantastic restaurant food that if suppose you like somewhere, you can have it shipped out.
Well, you know, the tiffin concept in India is very, very popular, where restaurants will deliver food to any employee's desk in a little tiffin, and it's hot and it's fresh. But it's different when it's your mom's food.
Yeah.
Meisheri was actually started by an IIT Bombay alumnus who originally started with fruits and vegetables and then decided that he could probably expand it and you know, get it so that food didn't spoil over longer transits. Yeah. And of course, this concept is going to catch on like wildfire. So it might even be a great investment opportunity for someone looking to invest in a business in India. But I love this story, you know, bring a little taste of home right here.
I think it is a very lovely story. Social graces. You know, I'm one of those people, if you tell me to meet you at 12 o'clock, I'll be there 5 minutes to 12. But there are people that are always running late. Always running late. It's like there is a Greenwich time and then there's a me time.
There's also Indian Standard Time. I'm sure you've heard this one, right? Indians are never ever on time for anything. Everything starts late.
I have not heard it. I have experienced it, you know. And I have been one of those myself where you say, okay, what is fashionably late? Fashionably late, according to the regular American folklore, is about 15 to 20 minutes. Fashionably late in the Indian community or many of the immigrant community is 45 minutes to an hour. And you know, there are trendsetters in America. For instance, President Bill Clinton was always late. President Obama is always late.
Well, presidents are allowed to be always late because they're usually running from one event to another and they're cramming 20 things into one day, so they get an excuse.
Yeah. And of course, Elizabeth Taylor, folks, she used to be such a habitual latecomer. She used to have a problem with the media. But she always would come and take a joke and say, you know, a woman needs a lot more time to get ready than a man does. And she would get away with it. But in order to play a joke under her instructions, her funeral was delayed for 15 minutes.
To pay tribute.
Yes. Shah Rukh Khan is late. Always late. You know, I go to sometimes fundraisers where these congressmen or senators or presidential candidates, they're like, instead of coming in at 6, they come in at 7:30. And the program is supposed to run from 6 to 8. I mean, what do they think they are?
There's a couple of things there. First, the value of time. You know, for the person, if you're the early arriver, you always hate the fact that your time is being less valued or being wasted by the person that's coming in late.
I disagree.
Even if they're sending you texts and tweets to let you know they're on their way, you know, great. You have communication now, which, you know, is better than having no communication and just sitting there wondering. But it doesn't make you feel any better that your time is not being wasted.
That's true. But I also want to tell you, only busy people have time. It's when you're not busy, not doing anything. That's when you're late. But if you're really busy, because busy people make appointments 10 minutes apart, 15 minutes apart.
They stick to a schedule.
Yes, they set to a schedule. One guy who thought it was the best way to make sure that his lady friend is not late, he says, I'm not afraid of me. I'm sitting in a restaurant all alone. You know, waiters are looking at me. They're feeling pity for me, but they're very angry at you when you're late. I mean, you understand.
So you get poor service.
Yeah.
People resent you more because you did waste their time after all. And consequently, I would imagine if you are always habitually late, you're always perpetually panicked too. And you're always probably on the defensive because you are always so late.
The People who come to the meeting early set the agenda. People who come to the meeting late follow the agenda. You know?
The early
and they're
bird
always
gets the
defensive.
worm.
They cannot come up and say, I got a better idea. You're late. No one wants to listen to you, you know. At the same time, I really think it is a great idea to be on time because remember, when a person is sitting there and you're not there, of course they're going to think. And that's where they say, that's when I think badly of you. So come on time, always be on time, and that's a good thing to be.
Folks, in this economy, it is very, very hard, not just to keep your job, but to get a raise is almost impossible. And in fact, the unemployment rate being so high means that most of us who've still been employed have had a pay increase of just 1.8% in this past year, which is half as much as the inflation. So obviously inflation is higher, your raise isn't even keeping up, and so it's really starting to pinch. So what are you to do when that circumstance happens? Well, of course, people will tell you leave your job. But this article in Time magazine says, yes, you can certainly do that, and it advises a few other things you can do before you have to go that far.
Unless you have signed a non-compete agreement. That's when you don't do that.
Well, according to Time magazine and according to some of these management consultants, here's what they recommend. Peter Bregman, an author and management consultant, says, do something counterintuitive to what your boss wants. Do less. Don't do more. Do less. If you're assigned 15 tasks, talk to your boss about focusing your energy on 5. Then in 6 months, show your manager the tangible benefits you've provided the organization and explain why it warrants more money.
I disagree.
To you.
I disagree. Because, you know, if you're one of the people, you're used to working hard. It's very hard to say, okay, I'm going to not work very hard. Your body will not go with it. Your brains will not go with it. You have to be who you are. You cannot hide yourself.
I think what the author is trying to say here is that sometimes because when others are let go and the work piles up, they pile work on top of those that are remaining. And they become less efficient and aren't able to do as well because they have so many more responsibilities. So it becomes a self-perpetuating, self-defeating phenomenon because you're not able to do your job nearly as well. So if you can remove stuff off of your plate, you have a greater chance for success. Therefore, you have a greater opportunity to ask for a raise. And here's another interesting point. If you're one of the survivors, your employer doesn't want to lose you. So actually, you have some leverage in that kind of environment. It's not like you should be fearful of losing your job. Actually, you should realize that if you were one of the ones they decided to keep, you have an opportunity to ask for more.
You know why? So there were 10 people in the department. So 8 were let go. Now, these 2 people have the historical knowledge and they understand how the company operates. Now, these 2 people can go in and say, buddy, give me more money or I'm walking too. And yes, they will have a very good opportunity to get more money.
And if you're wondering what are those arenas in which you should be in to get those biggest raises that are out there, this is kind of interesting. I would not have expected some of these to be where they are. If you want a good raise, you should be a chemist. Apparently there are jobs in chemistry and they give good raises in that field. If you are a railroad conductor, would you have guessed railroad conductor as being someone who could demand or ask for a higher raise? Certainly. If you are a public relations professional, that is where some of the fastest wage growth is occurring. And if you're a tax preparer, you can imagine, in this economy, everybody is looking to save dollars where they can. A tax preparer has the highest wage growth that is out there. And, of course, the ones that you don't want to be in or the ones you might want to look to get out of because they have been stagnating, telemarketers, bookkeepers, teacher assistants, sewing machine operators, lab technicians, therapists. I would have thought therapists, there would be a lot of need for therapy and they'd be growing fast, but actually not the case.
But you know, one of the things that I was reading, that there are more unemployed people that want to become nurse. Nurse was a profession that men never touched. You know, it was always a woman's profession.
Not anymore.
But now, there are plenty of people who are electricians, plumbers, masons. They can't get a job. So they're saying, where should we go where the money is big? Nursing has big money. So you can exchange, and of course, takes you, 2 or 3 years to get trained. Government pays for it. So might as well become a nurse, make a little more money.
It's hard work, and there's a lot of long hours in nursing, so nothing
So
is
is
as easy as
electrician.
that.
So is masonry.
Well, I'll share 2 more here with you. Compliance officers, which I thought was kind of funny. You know, in this age of new regulation, there's a lot of people looking to hire compliance officers,
Yes.
so that is actually growing. And last but not least, and entirely predictable, the physicians still remains one of the largest bubbles, not just in terms of the number of people being employed, but in terms of fastest wage growth and the highest paid. So I guess the old notion still holds true. If you want to keep your money, keep your job in any kind of economy, become a doctor, because you'll profit in the end.
And that's about all we have for you folks. Remember, there are only 7 shopping days to Christmas, and we hope to enjoy the holidays that are in the air. Namaste.
Namaste.